critical of human perspective.
Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining Eileen and I tonight. How's it going, Eileen?
It's going great. How about you?
Doing wonderful. I should have adjusted our volumes a little bit there.
How's our volumes? Testing 1, 2, 3. Do we have anybody in the room? Because we're always starting late. I guess we should say we start at 8:18. Right?
Yeah, well, they've been in here chatting, so I think it's cool that we open it up and they're allowed to get in here and start chatting early.
Yeah, it gives a few minutes for people to get in.
Yeah. And
I'm not complaining.
No complaints here.
We always get here around 8, and then it takes us like 15 minutes to set everything up. He's like in a cockpit.
Yeah.
Fixing this, fixing that.
Check. Going down the list of things.
Taking off.
But, I got your name right. I got the intro right. So.
Okay, so talking about that, I have run by some of the names, the cool names we were given for January.
Yeah.
As we grow and evolve here, and we're doing earth healing meditations here, as opposed to just intentions. So I ran by the quantumers and the reality shifters, which we can't take because that's really a Cynthia Sue Larson catchphrase.
Yeah.
We all said we can't do that one, and a few of the other ones. And the one that my metaphysical friends liked the best was the power of us, because they felt like that would include them. Right. Because it says the power of us instead of just a select group. So it's close to the power of 8 at 8. Is that something that you guys would like? Would you like the power of us, Shane?
I like the power of us. Yeah. Someone presented script flippers, which I thought was cool, except for it kind of has an expiration on it, because once we flip the scripts.
I love script flippers. That is so cool. Script flipper. It would be, I'd have trouble saying it. Script flippers meditations
Right.
live.
Right, where we're just changing the paradigm, as it were.
I like it though. It's a really cool description. I also, matrix code breakers.
Ooh. Yeah, that's cool.
The matrix code breakers.
Liable to get a lot of hackers in here, though. Speaking of which, I got to bring this up because... Let me go full screen and show you guys. So we logged into our account today. I did make a post about this, but this was what we logged into today on our Netflix account. This was typically, 5 family members logins, but it says, I hacked your Netflix. Sorry. At least they apologized.
Well, it's like, I was asking you before we came on, what kind of hacker apologizes? That is so nice.
Yeah.
Usually they just hack and go, not, hello, I was here, sorry.
Right. So then I looked it up and they said there was like a dump of account information that hit the dark web and it's making its way through, and people are, I guess it was since Disney, they're having to deal with it since, I guess they merged with Disney or something. I don't really know. I was just reading.
Did they put up that Disney Plus channel?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't want to misspeak, but I know it was something. The article said something like, if you have a Netflix account, change your password, because even if you haven't logged on to see what I just saw, I hacked your Netflix, sorry, you might wake up tomorrow with it. And of course, you got payment information in there, credit card information on the account. I don't know that they can pull out enough to go spend your money elsewhere, but it's probably enough that they could send, I don't know, DVDs to a P.O. box, or who knows what they can do. They changed the email address. We actually had to call them and sit on the phone and get everything squared away again, and it looks like everything's fine now. We had to switch our email address that was connected with it. And
what else? I'm just telling my daughter now, I'm texting her as you speak. Just change the email or the password as well?
The password. The password's the main thing. Once they hack it, you got to change them both, though. Because they've gotten in there. And so, yeah, definitely want to change your Netflix passwords. I know it's a nuisance because if you're logging in with, say, a couple of computers, a smart TV, a phone, a tablet,
all over the place.
Then you're going to have to go and renew those passwords there. But those are also weaknesses. You know what I mean? Places where they can get that information and hack into it. So just sort of a public service announcement. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people have Netflix. Just change the password. Notify everybody that's on your account. Like my daughter, she lives down the street, but she kept hers and she logs in from down the street and at her place now, and we just left her on the account, so she's going to have to get the
A
new
lot of people
password.
do, and they give it to their friends and their best friends who use them across town.
Yeah, exactly. So just so you guys know, it's better to do it now, and then you don't have to sit on the phone. So it's kind of a nuisance, but you're going to have to do it anyway if you get hacked, and then you run the risk of them getting sensitive information. So
Very, very good. We don't want that, do we? I was part of the Target hack, but I didn't actually lose any money that time. But I did lose money when I used my credit card at a Shell station once that had one of those secret readers on there. And within 3 days, they were using my credit card like 30, 50 miles up the road in another town.
yeah,
I got all that money back though, because the credit card company protects you better than if you use debit card. So they say never use a debit card at a gas station or a restaurant
hmm
because it's harder to get that money back if you get hacked, if they copy it.
right, yeah, that makes sense, and that's a real vulnerable place supposedly. I still use it at the
I've
pump, but
heard.
I don't
I use a
really.
credit card at the pump. I just don't use a debit card. Do you use debit?
I use, oh, so if you use it as credit, I normally use it as credit where you put in instead of putting in your PIN number, you're having to put in your zip code.
It's supposed to
So
be
it is a
safer.
debit card, but I use it as a credit card.
That
So,
should make it safer somehow. They said use
right.
credit cards instead of debit cards
Yeah.
at restaurants and gas stations.
But I also have the chip in there. So if I'm at a terminal, I will plug it in and use the chip in there. And that actually saves your transaction onto your card. So that's probably the most secure way because it
Oh,
saves.
yeah.
It's like putting a receipt on your little card, so they know that you actually used it. So.
Interesting. But we were saying maybe they were kids because they said sorry. Like, I hacked your account. Sorry. It's like, are they just having fun? Are they just messing around?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they pay for. I guess they probably get bundles of information, and some of them they can use. Some of them they can only just mess with the person. So, they're probably just showing their friends, "Hey, look what we can do," and just.
Did you find out if you could, if they watched a bunch of movies, charged a bunch of movies?
No, they didn't.
Netflix account.
No, they didn't. We caught it right away
Cool.
because the family we don't have cable or anything, so
Neither
everybody in
do I. I'm
here's
on Roku.
right. So they're
That's not an ad for Roku. It's just so much cheaper. It's like my cable Comcast went to Xfinity and it went up, 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 right through the roof. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. My whole family is like in Denver going, well, why are you on cable? We've been on like Fire Sticks and Roku and what's the other one? There's another one.
mm,
Can't remember. They said they've been on that for years. And I'm like, well, what is that? And they said, well, you go on the internet, so you have to pay for internet to your house. But then through these sticks, you can watch all kinds of TV for free.
right.
And I'm like,
Like
well, why are people putting out TV for free now? And I found out that you can't watch everything that you get on cable, but you can watch most things, and it's because they run advertising. So you're not really getting it for free. You're getting the show for free, but you're watching a bunch of ads.
right.
Yeah.
That's how Hulu is. You can get the cheap one, but then you still got the ads, so they're getting it from both ends. You're getting a really cheap monthly fee. I think $5 a month or
Yep.
something, but
Yep.
then
I got
you're
Hulu.
still watching the ads.
Yep.
But you can pay more and get it
And
ad
not watch
free.
the ads.
Right.
Okay. Well, at least we got some options there.
Right. Netflix usually works, and then of course you get some stuff with Amazon Prime. But like the new Mandela Effect movie's available on there. But if you have
Did you
Amazon
watch
Prime,
it on there?
I'm
Did
gonna
you?
watch it before next weekend. And actually,
It's
hope
6.99 on Prime, but I'm a Prime member. Are you a Prime member? Is that
yeah.
why? Or is it 6.99 for everybody?
I don't know because I'm a Prime
Like
member.
you
It's
have to
six.
be a Prime member to get movies?
Right. Well, I don't know if that's a. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good
I don't
question.
either.
So I know you can rent it for 6.99, or you can buy it for 11.99, twelve ninety
Yep.
nine, something like
Yep.
that.
Yep. Yep.
So, uh, if you think you're going to have to rent it twice, you might as well just buy it for
Oh yeah,
10.99 or eleven
yeah,
ninety
you can
nine,
rent it
whatever it is.
twice. I went ahead and rented it, and I did a little review on it because I felt like I owed the director a review since I was like, those trailers are looking pretty negative. But actually, the trailers look more negative than the movie. But I'm
Hmm.
not going to give any spoiler alerts because everybody here is going to go watch it, right? And
Right.
it's not playing in my theaters. I had to get it on Amazon Prime, but I'm a Prime member, and I had to pay $6.99 for it. But
So I
I
guess
have
it's
to
just
say, it's a lot more positive than the trailer,
right.
but it's not 100% positive. It's not the way we would do the Mandela Effect movie from this channel,
Right.
right?
Well, I
And that's
guess
okay. That's
yeah.
okay. You
Yeah, I'm
know?
gonna watch it before next weekend, and I was hoping we can have people watch it this week and then call into the love stream, and maybe we can discuss it next Saturday night,
Oh,
and
that would be
that way
awesome.
give everybody a week to watch it because it just came out yesterday, right?
It just came out yesterday.
Right.
And I
So,
watched it last night and I did a 5-minute review without any spoiler alerts. And
hmm
basically, I just ate some of my words from when I did a trailer review going, dun, 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 here
right.
it comes, upside down cross. And the guy goes, ideas are dangerous things. And I'm like, oh my God, not at this channel, they're not. That's all we
Right.
talk about here is ideas, don't we?
Definitely. Yeah. So, I guess Lauren Canal Pavelka, the speaker that was out at the Mandela Effect conference, she was at the premiere in Austin, Texas, and she said that they're definitely Mandela Effect, that you can tell by the movie, that they're clearly just sort of going down the same road that many people go down, where you're just sort
Yeah.
of looking at stuff, and they presented it really well. Of course, they had opposition, but who hasn't that's gone through
And when
this?
you first are Mandela affected, who isn't scared? Who goes, everything's changing around me. I'm absolutely fine with that. Yeah, that's great. Wonderful.
Right.
Another thing changed today. That's not how we reacted.
Right.
Not in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the movie as this is a person in the early stages, like the first month of
Right.
being Mandela affected, then it
And
makes sense.
and they showed his, I guess it's his brother-in-law, the morning after the opening in Austin, or the sneak peek premiere or whatever they call it. They were on Austin in the morning, sort of the local news outlet there,
Cool.
and
Wow,
and
nice.
and they said that the one of the characters was, I guess, a brother-in-law, and he
Yep.
was sort of the typical person that sort of says, "Oh, it's false memories and it's this and that," and but
Yep.
you have to represent those people, because who hasn't dealt with people that keep giving you that, what you Wikipedia get on Wikipedia when you look up Mandela Effect. It's false
Yeah.
memories. It's just collective misremembering and all of this. So I think you want it balanced like that, because that's exactly what people go through. But then they combined it with a traumatic thing. Of course, they said in the show, they said it happens in the first few minutes that someone passes away, and that sort of is.
It's kind of the whole story hangs on that, which is kind of cool, but not necessary for being Mandela affected. Trauma is not necessary to
Right.
become Mandela affected. We figured that out in our community.
Mm-hmm.
But that someone passing away is the movie. Like if you can then change timelines, can you change to a timeline where the person didn't pass away?
Which we've
So
seen that
that's the
with
whole gist of the movie
with
right there.
Mandela.
Is can you or can't you?
Right.
Can you jump timelines? And then of course you got movies like The Butterfly Effect showing up in this movie too, with, well, once you do that, something else has changed. Once you switch timelines, it's not exactly the way you left it.
Right. Okay.
So then which one do you want to be in? Which one's worse? And of course it's looking at the how negative can it get? I'm laughing in my review because I'm going, Cynthia's going, how good can it get? That's our community. And they're going, how negative can it get if you keep jumping timelines and things like the Butterfly Effect movies?
Right.
Right? They're like, oh no, we got to go back and fix this.
Right. So I guess they focused on. I went ahead and bought the movie right away. That way I could leave a review and mention our book in it. So I actually did that, so anybody can click that and say it was a helpful review about the movie, if you're on Amazon Prime
Right.
anyway. So
I should have done the same instead of renting it. You bought it?
yeah, I
I should
bought
have
it
just gone ahead and bought it. I rented it. I'll see if
because
I
then
can
it says
review it.
verified purchase,
I'll see if I
and
can review it as a renter.
yeah, you probably can. It just won't
Yeah.
say verified purchaser, but it might say verified renter or
Yeah, it might
something.
say viewer, yeah,
Viewer.
renter, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I figured it was a
But
small investment to get the word out, and it's
yeah,
I'm so glad I read this other book, because it explores a lot of the other options that the movie wasn't able to go into. Because I already knew it was a more simulation theory type topic, in the
Well,
movie from Lauren. It's
there's only about a dozen Mandela Effect books on Amazon worldwide, so you're going to bump into ours no matter what. Great way to market it, cross market. Good idea. I think I'll jump in and do the same. And our community gave the book that shove that it needed to get it started because
thank you,
we're
by the way,
always,
you guys.
yeah, thank you guys. We're always around between say 100 and 150,000 in the top ranking of all books.
Oh, that's nice.
And I keep looking up how many books do they have on Amazon, and there's nowhere that will tell you. But if you look up other books, they're ranked 2 million. So I
Oh,
figure if we're ranked 100,000 to 150,000 out of all the books, we're ranked like 600 in our category. We're the top 600 book in our category, which is unexplained mysteries.
mm-hmm.
So we got good company in there. We've got like David Wilcock and Lynne McTaggart
Mm-hmm.
and anybody that writes about the mysterious and the unexplained. But there's books that are ranked 2 million. So I figure there's at least 2 million books for sale on Amazon.
Right, at least.
So
if we're in,
pretty good.
yeah, that's totally true. Yeah, it's like that with video games. If you're like in the top, it's 100,000 players or whatever, and it seems like astronomical. You're like, oh my gosh, there's 15 million. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's all based on the total size of the
Exactly.
population. Depends on how big it is.
So, what category did we hit number one in the very
We
beginning?
hit number one in best new seller, new release. So
Oh,
for
okay.
2 days, because of you guys, everybody seemed to buy them like the first couple of days. For
Yeah,
2 days, we were Amazon in the USA number one new release.
that's cool. We got the
I'm like,
screenshot of it. Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
got the screenshot. I'm
I'm
like,
so
it
glad you
lasted
did.
2 days. It lasted 2 days, but what the heck?
Yeah,
Who
our 2 days
cares?
of glory, and that snowballs into other stuff. And like I said, with this movie releasing, when I looked up the movie on Amazon, our book came up before the movie did. I don't know
I
if it's still like
know.
that, but
September.
yeah, and that
September
horrible movie that has nothing to do with the Mandela effect came up
Ben.
first. Yeah,
Big Ben or
yeah,
something like that. Well, can I screen share since we're talking about books? Can I
yeah.
screen
Let me do
share?
that and go full screen for you. Go right
Thank
ahead.
you. So I'm going to try. Here we go. Screen sharing, Shane. And I'm sharing now. Are we there?
Yep, that's
Yep.
me.
So if I shrink Shane, try to say that 3 times fast, especially after a beer, right? There we go. Can you see it?
Beautiful.
So this came out today, guys. You remember that manifestation technique that I've shared a few times? It's called 40 Days and 40 Nights. It was given to me 3 decades ago, word of mouth. I've done it. I've used it. It works. And I went ahead and put it into a book, 100 pages as a guide. So it's an inexpensive book and an inexpensive Kindle, but I'm doing it for you guys for free. So starting the first week of January, I'm probably going to share with you like 5 pages or 10 pages on a Saturday, just so you get the whole book for free. But then if you love it and you want to give it as gifts to family members, the most fascinating thing about it is Shane's design, because everybody loves this, Shane. Shane designed the cover, front and back.
Now this is thank you, by the
It's
way.
beautiful.
This is what we did at the beginning of the year, correct? You did the
Yes.
40 days where you write everything down, and
Yep.
but it
Yep.
actually goes into uh, the history of 40, which I found super interesting. Just going into 40 and how that breaks down to four and numerologically, and
Yep.
yeah,
Were
super
you
interesting.
like amazed at all the religious connotations for 40 besides Jesus went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights? There's so much more than that.
hmm Yeah, and I was surprised at how much of it came from. Just it seemed like a lot of it was focused from Christian religion and some of the religions.
Yeah, and a little Judaism and a little Islam. It's sneaked into Chinese, Hindu, and Buddhist
hmm
religions and philosophies, but it really is focused in ancient Middle Eastern mysticism. It definitely predates the Bible.
Very cool.
Very cool. And I looked into why, and 40 was considered an era or an epoch. They call it an EPOC, an epoch or an era,
Like a
which
generation.
a generation. So, I mean, maybe people weren't living so long. Maybe they weren't living into, 80, 90. Maybe they were, I don't know. I can't say that for sure.
Well, I think of it like having, childbearing age, and then you have a kid, and even if you live 70, you start the new generation at 40, maybe. Well, I
Well,
don't know, but they
usually
were
we
having it
started at
younger with it.
20. We
Yeah.
start, I mean, not me. I was 39. So yeah, that would definitely suit me. But most people have kids, used to have kids around
Hmm.
20, 25. Now people are putting it off to 30, 35, and they're afraid if they put it off any later that they won't succeed and with fertility, right?
Right.
So I don't know. It's really fascinating. There are many, many pages in there on the spiritual significance of the number 40 and also the numerological significance of the number 40 because you have to get rid of the zero. You add the four plus the zero in numerology makes it a number four. And there you've got the four pillars of the earth, the four directions, the cardinal directions, north, south, east, west. You got the four seasons, right?
Hmm.
You've got you got the four elements of earth, water, fire, and air. So four is pretty much the building number. It's the earth number. It's the atom. It's matter.
Hmm.
It's like laying the foundations. That's what the four is in numerology.
It's beautiful.
And your cover is stunning. I just love it. Everybody loves it. Everybody's like, oh my God, that cover is so beautiful. In fact, I went on and looked, and there are so many manifestation books right now that the one thing that's going to set mine apart is that key, is your cover.
Wow.
That's going to draw a lot of attention to it. And I put it down as a key, and there's a golden key, right?
Hmm.
Because if you practice the 40 days and 40 nights, in my experience, everything that you write down, if you do it in this pattern, in this mystical way, is all going to come about. And I thought it had actually failed. One of them that I did, and I've only done it 3 times in my life, and I usually do 3 things at a
Hmm.
time instead of 5 or 10 or one. Um, and they used to manifest quite quickly. But then again, my personality has always been I'm a big believer. I'm positive. I believe I deserve it. I believe I can get it. I believe I can have it. So I'm the perfect candidate to do this because everything I write down comes about within months to a year. But then the third time I did it, it didn't come about. And I'm like, wow, why did this not work on the third go? Was it something like I didn't believe it? Or, and then of course, as I'm publishing this book, after we did our big Mandela Effect book, the one that didn't come out was that I was a published author.
So it was delayed.
It
I
was
like how you
delayed
brought that out in the book,
in the
and
book. It was
now
delayed.
this one. It's like it opened the floodgates, and you've already got this book out now too.
This is crazy. It was delayed 13 years. What's a one and a three?
Oh, four.
It's a four. Because I did it in 2006 when my husband died. After he died, I did my 40 days and 40 nights. And then I published in 2019. Well, that's 13 years is the difference.
Jane is saying that she can't find it on here. Let me copy this link in. Maybe it will flip you over to
I'm trying to get you back. Oh, here we go. Stop sharing. Yeah, are you talking about Amazon, Jane?
in Canada. So here is the link. Ooh, that's really long.
Amazon in Canada has its own printing facility now.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. It might take an extra day. Try clicking that link and see if it will.
This is news, Jane and Nancy and who else? Everybody's from Canada, right? We have so many, not everybody, but we have so many. I'm trying to get back to you.
Yep,
Have
you're
I have
back.
I released you? Are we back to us?
Yep, you are back. I'm here. Can you see me?
So
Okay, good.
yeah, so I heard this week Canada got its own Amazon printing facility. So now you can order from Amazon and ship from Amazon. Should save you some money.
Definitely. But it might take an extra day, Jane. So, oh, she said, oh, I found it. So, okay.
And I searched me on Amazon USA, and I do not turn up unless you put the whole title in. It's really a shame, but there you go.
Yeah, I put the
Um,
whole title in, but it came up for me.
I put in 40 days and 40 nights, and I didn't come up. So maybe I'm on like page 10.
Yeah.
And I put in manifestation, and I didn't come up. And I'm like, dang, but I only went live today. But then I put 40 days and 40 nights manifestation key, and I came up first.
Right. That's what
So
I did. And it came up first.
but the hard part is if somebody's shopping Christmas gifts and they put in manifestation, I would love to come up like we do on the Mandela Effect book, which is right there, but I don't.
Now, does it know you as the author of? It should know you as the author of both books, right? Like if I click on
Does,
your
and it
name.
linked them. So now I have to go in to the
Oh yeah,
Mandela Effect.
when I click on your name, it brings up both books.
Yeah, it linked them. So I have
Yeah.
to go in on the Mandela Effect print book, which I have in my computer, and I have to put also by and put the book in there. And then if you can go into the Kindle and go into the Mandela Effect book, you'll have to just create a page that says also by Eileen Colts. Do a link to my book, and then when you publish something, put it in there. And when Paulo publishes something, put it in there. And if Vanessa publishes something,
I
we can
see.
just always add it to Kindle.
So if you want the book, probably the easiest way is to click this link at the top of this description box now, and then click on her name, and it will bring up both books right there.
And I'm going to do it for free. I'm going to do it for free on my channel, and I'm going to do it for free here with our group Earth Changers. I don't know. Do you want to call us that? The Earth Changers? I don't know. We're manifesting a new world here by coming together. You know, there's 100 of us who come together live to bring in the new earth, and that's what we're doing with our group meditations. Because I've actually heard now that if you bring one extra person in, it multiplies it by 1,000. So if you bring 100 extra people in,
All right.
that's multiplying it by 100,000.
Well, I think what was it? The Bible, one can set 1,000 a flight, two 10,000 a flight. There was like an exponential effect
You're
to it.
right. And it went 10,000. So that would be not 100,000. That would be 1,000,000. It would be
Right.
like our 100 people doing earth healing meditations every Saturday night is worth 1,000,000 people getting together to do something.
Right. Well, I did the math on just a doubling effect every time, and 32 people will cover enough to cover every single person on the planet with 32 in one
Whoa.
accord. That's all it takes. It's wild, isn't it? So we literally have enough within our group here where even if half the people are like, I don't really believe it and don't really have their heart in it, not saying that you do, I'm just saying that we have enough to spare at this point. If we can get a good block of 32 people to really put their heart into something, that's enough to have enough faith for everyone on the planet.
And most of the people here, not all, but most have been doing it for 2 years this April.
Yeah. And we've
And have
seen some
you
really
noticed?
cool effects.
We've had some super
Yeah.
cool effects. And have you guys noticed that the more we do it, the easier it is to get into the zone, the easier it is to meditate, the more we do it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Suso's asking, can I ship my book to Eileen and have her sign and ship it to the other two authors so I can have all 4 autographs? Oh, yeah.
oh, me too?
Well,
Me?
yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Okay.
Suso.
Okay, so you're talking about, yeah, it wouldn't have to come to me. You're talking about the signed copy I gave you, Suso, right? So, yeah, you could ship it to Eileen. You'd be stuck with the shipping. Well, I guess
I don't mind.
Vanessa would.
He's in Colorado. But what about shipping it to Paulo?
That's what
I
I
gave you a
mean.
really good review on Amazon, Suso. His book is so good. It was really, really.
Oh, I love it, yeah. And I've even really been enjoying his videos. Like I haven't even been watching many videos, but
I catch 'em. I've been catching them.
I've started them and I can't stop. I'll just be doing other work while I'm watching it, and I'm right with you,
I'm
man.
happy to do that. Everybody sign it for sure, for sure. But
Might
one of
be,
it has to Paulo's in Australia, Suso. He's in Sydney.
yeah, it might be kind of expensive.
As long as he doesn't lose the book en route, and then we'd have to send him another one, which is fine. We don't care. We'll send you another one, but you'd have to start over.
I would read it first.
And Vanessa VA, she's in the East Coast,
Virginia, yeah,
Virginia.
yeah, that'd be nice. Let's
Cool
see.
beans.
So Jane did find it.
Oh, I'm so glad. And is it printable in Canada now and shippable from Canada? So that should save some money, but I know it's higher. Everything costs more. As soon as you put the price in Amazon, they
Hmm.
bump it up for Canada. I guess that's because of the exchange, right?
Yeah, she said she put your name in and it came up, so that might be the way to go.
That's great for you guys, but if somebody wants to buy a book that's on manifestation, they're going to have really struggle to find my book.
Right.
They don't know my name. They don't know our other books. But
So how
never
do you
mind.
give it? How do you give them away for free? Do you just make the ebook book available to them, or how do you
I
go about
put
that?
the ebook on Kindle Unlimited. So anybody who joins Kindle Unlimited, I'm not a member, where you can read any Kindle book for $15 a month.
Mm,
They'll get access to it.
okay, but I mean, you said giving it free to the group. how do you go about doing that?
Oh, just reading it. I'm gonna produce little probably a series of videos on my channel
Oh,
on
okay,
the
okay.
book, and then just post them for free.
I
And then
see.
with you guys, I can just share the information starting in January as a kickoff to the new year.
Oh, yeah,
I
and you don't have to. You just share your screen and read a section or a
Yeah,
selection, make a playlist, and then everybody gets it for free.
and that way you guys all get it for free, and everybody gets it for free on my channel. And then if you know anybody who needs help in the manifestation department, then you can send them a Kindle or a book or my videos. Yeah.
And you've also been doing this other series on your channel for, what is it called again?
Yeah, A Course in
A
Miracles.
Course in Miracles. I can't ever remember that. Okay.
It's really funny because we've done 7. I'm taking the weekends off just because, phew, I need to have that break. I was like, okay, and Dead GPK, he's doing it with us. And he said, Eileen, just sit down and make like 5 videos at once and then just release one a day. But what I'm doing now is I'm releasing one video in the evening for the whole next day. So everybody gets it a day ahead of time.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
because our European viewers, they're going to get it in,
exactly.
right,
They'll
early
get it in
morning.
the morning that way.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to do it 2 or 3, maximum 4 times a day. And it started out with 120, and then it was like 80, and then it was like 60, and then it was like 50, then it was like 40. And right now we have a group of 30. So there are 30 of us who are doing the daily lessons of A Course in Miracles for a year.
Nice.
And even if it gets down to 10 or 12 of us, it doesn't matter because, this course is like, it's really difficult because there was a key lesson, not yesterday, what was yesterday, but I put it out the night before. And it's to look at a cup and say, this doesn't have any meaning. This is not a cup. This has no meaning. And it's really hard to do that throughout the day. When you look at a dog and a car and a sofa in your hand, to say that has no meaning. And it doesn't ask you to justify it. It doesn't ask you to fight it, rationalize it, argue it. You just do it. And what happens is over the course of a year, by doing these little workbook exercises, it makes you think differently. So basically, at the end of the year, you see that everything is an illusion or a mirage. There is no meaning in anything because the only meaning it holds is what people before you who are dead gave it. And then they gave it to someone, and then they died, but they gave it to somebody before they died, and then they passed it on to people. But that's not the meaning. That is not the meaning of the object or the thing. You know what I mean? It's like we could erase everything and start all over, and we would have to ask ourselves, what do we collectively want to call this? What should we call this?
Yeah, we just it's and this we're actually Suso's in the chat. That's so funny because in his video he's talking about what do we call God, source and all this. And I was totally right with him because no matter what you use, once you bring something down to a name, you've limited it to that name. It's like so limiting. And the only reason I use it, and I'll usually throw out 3 or 4 terms for God, source, creator, this sort of thing,
Yep, source energy.
Just so everybody feels included, and they can use whatever they feel comfortable with. But some people are like opposed to using the word God. They're like, well, God, that's really the archons, and it's hard
God
to, you
is
can't
a
please
white
everybody.
man with a white beard like Santa Claus, totally not for everybody.
Right. So it's like that with if you look into the works of like Alan Watts, did I get that right? Alan Watts, where he's talking about, when you look at a tree, as soon as you name it a tree and you tell your kid, oh, that's a tree, then you reduce what it is down to a word instead of just sort of taking it in as what it is. And we can also do that with sounds. When I do this when I'm meditating, you just sort of observe the sounds instead of saying, oh, that's a bird in the distance. Oh, I can hear the river. I can hear a car driving by. And your brain wants to label things,
And when you label things, you limit them.
Yeah.
You're only seeing what people want you to see that's been handed down and agreed upon.
Right. But you can reach a point where you'll hear your own thoughts in the same way. And the distinction between what you're hearing in your head, the thoughts that come through it, and what you're hearing in the outside world, that wall between the two breaks down. You realize it's just all vibration. It's just all there, and you can just sort of observe it. You don't have to give it your attention. You just sort of It's almost like a daydream. You stare out the window and you're not really looking, but your
But you're
mind's
looking through it all
right.
more expansively, taking it all in. I think that's what A Course in Miracles tries to do, is to widen your sight
Hmm.
and widen your thoughts.
That's what made me think of it. It seems like the same sort of idea to help sort of, become one with everything because those distinctions between yourself and other things starts to break down when you stop labeling and categorizing and
Well, that's the actual goal of
right,
Course in Miracles, but it doesn't state it outwardly, but it
right,
is the at one-ment,
yeah,
which is atonement
hmm,
for ascension. It's
yeah,
being at one with everything around you, which means that you are, as what's that word, ephemeral, as this cup. This cup is made up of waves, and you're made up of waves. And there's very little difference between you and this cup. And then you start thinking, well, that's the material me. That's the me on Earth in 2020 on a Saturday night at, 9 o'clock, 8 Central, and who knows, 7 Mountain and
right,
6 Pacific. And then you're like, but none of that's real. I am something else out of this body looking through it. I am something out there
yeah,
that's just looking through these eyes. And I think that's where the Course in Miracles wants to take you, is to the real you.
right.
The real you. Who is thinking those thoughts?
Which
Is
is
that the
all
real
and
you?
nothing at the same time, basically. So
All and
it's
nothing.
yeah, it's like you're everything, but you focused in on this one particular pixel, if you will, of this whole mosaic of an image, and it's like we're limited here, but we're really everything. And it's sort of like it helps you release or, try to, I guess, let go of trying to control everything because we want so badly to control everything.
Control
But
everything.
you think about like everything your body's doing, and we're like 99% on
We don't even
autopilot.
control what our body's doing.
Yeah,
I
think
didn't
about it.
even think to breathe
Right.
like a second ago or blink. I
Yeah,
didn't
no
think to blink.
blink, hearing, it's just all sort of automatic. And then you realize, like, wait a minute. Well, even that
I'm on
thought, where did that thought?
autopilot.
Yeah, we're totally on autopilot. Our heart's pumping.
And then
Our,
our brains come in here and go, I must control what everybody does around me at all times. They have to do what makes me happy, not do what makes them happy, because then I'm out of control.
right.
It's kind of funny, actually.
And it's actually easy to let go of trying to control other people when you realize you're like, well, even with myself, I'd be arguing with myself 10 years ago. Or I might not be arguing with him, but he'd be arguing with me like, what are you doing? You've gotten so far off track. And, so it just helps you let go of the judgment of others, when you
It really
realize that.
does. And that's what the course is. And it's going to be fun to see how many of us get through it. I did the whole course plus the textbook and the teacher's manual 5 years ago. And I'm like, all these lessons are new for me. I'm like, did I really manage to forget that much in 5 years? So for me, it's like doing the whole thing from scratch.
Mm,
And it makes you think, you're like, oh, I don't want to say that cup has no meaning. I'm resistant. I'm
yeah,
like, this cup has a meaning. It holds water right now, and um, it's plastic.
yeah,
It has meaning. But then when you realize, no, don't analyze it. Just say, right now, this cup in front of me has no meaning. And then, of course, the next exercise the next day is I assign the meaning to everything I see. And you have to just practice that for a day. If you see a car, you're like, I assign that meaning to that thing. I assign it to my computer. I assign it to my mic, to the table, to me, to you guys. I'm assigning the meaning to you guys because that's what we do. We come in here and we just judge and judge and judge and judge and judge some more.
right,
We judge everything all the time. And when I say judge, I don't mean like, oh, you're a bad person, but judge. We weigh it up. We're like, is that hot? Is it cold?
right,
Is it up? Is it down? Is it male? Is it female? Is it good? Is it bad? Is
right.
it old? Is it young?
It has to have a purpose. And
Is it fat? Is it skinny?
we get stuck on the whole purpose thing, and it's like, that's what I love about art, because with art, the purpose, there is no purpose really to it. It's just to be beautiful, to enjoy. It's just purely for the enjoyment of it. So whether you're talking about dancing, it's not about the end result. And so much of our life, it's like we're always trying to get somewhere instead of being in the moment, right? So, and it's like that with music. You're not trying to get to that last stanza or that last, where the band comes to this crescendo at the end, and otherwise we just do the crescendo. But it's
Racing to
about the
the
whole
end.
song. It's about the whole
It's the
dance.
journey.
It's the journey. Yeah.
We forget that so often, and we try to race to the end, you know?
And a lot of times it's an artificial ending. I mean, how
I
many
think we do
religions?
that because of stress. I think a lot of things, there's false stress put on all of us. We're born into a stressful world and we go, oh, that's the way it operates. That's the way it is. And we should go, says who?
Right,
Says who you have to work 40 hours a week? Says who? Says why? You know
right.
what I mean? And we don't question any of that. We get born into it and we go along and then we lead these, sometimes stressful lives,
Yeah.
where we just have to race and hurry out of self-preservation. I don't know.
And it's a trap. I mean, how many times you're working a job and you get to this point where you're like, you get a raise and you're like, oh my gosh, now let's see how much I'm making. Oh my gosh, I can go get a new car now. And you're like always living on the verge of, being too broke. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
the more money
It's
you
all
make,
by
the more
design.
stuff you get.
It's all by design. This, if we could start over with us as the creators of the new earth rules, right?
Yeah,
Right? It would be very, very different
very much so.
because
Yeah.
we're smart enough to figure out how to create prosperity for all, how to create energy for all, how to create abundance for all, food for all, housing for all. We're smart enough. We got this,
Yeah.
we just need our own planet now.
Yeah, and not to fall into the trap of lack, like there's not enough, because that's the main thing that's going around. That's like,
But you
hmm,
see, lack is profitable.
right,
Okay, so for instance, when a hurricane's coming and suddenly there's no gasoline and water and milk, what they used to do is price gouge and put a little bit out, but 10 times the price. So lack is profitable, but only profitable for a few people, not
right,
profitable for everybody who needs it. So we've built an entire industry and finance system based on lack and greed.
exactly, and then that forces you to worry and to go back to the grind more, and yeah, it's a trap. Thank you,
But think about
Suso
it.
and Dustin.
If we, hey, Dustin, if we had been like raised in true communism, say from the Bolsheviks onwards and, to 1990, we wouldn't be able to sit here and talk about this. We'd all be in the gulag.
Right,
So the fact that we can talk about this means we are in a good place because we
right,
like to criticize our government. Yeah, there's a lot to criticize, but let's start pointing out the good and the positive so we can grow the positive. We can sit here in this platform and we've made friends with people all over the world that without this platform, I never would have met you, Shane. I wouldn't have met anybody in the chat
yeah,
or listening in who's lurking and doesn't like to chat but's always there.
totally. Yeah,
So I'm like, thank you, YouTube.
that's
Thank
what I
you,
tell people
YouTube.
that see the Mandela effect as a negative thing. I'm like, well, for me, it's been this divine gathering of like-minded people because
Yeah.
how many people came together because of the Mandela effect? So I look at the
Thank you,
positive with it.
Mandela Effect. It's
Yeah.
awesome. And thank you, YouTube.
Thank you,
YouTube is
YouTube.
awesome. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
And I think if we start singing the praises of our government and our platforms
Yeah.
instead of always singing the negative, yes, the negative's there. I see it.
Right.
Trust me, I see it and I feel it. Maybe where your focus goes, energy goes and
Yeah.
it grows. So why don't we just turn it around and start talking about how great YouTube is? Gives us this free platform. We don't pay for it.
Yeah.
We get on here and we meet each other and then we do things live together, like meditate together,
Yeah.
like we're in one room, a
I mean,
hundred
think
of
of how
us.
far we've come since 2017 with, ESETI, this book. None of that would have happened if it wasn't for
None
the
of that would have
Mandela effect
happened.
and YouTube. It's everything's working together for good, and it's not hard to see the positive in it. You just got
So
to open your
maybe
mind. Yeah.
we got to talk about the positive and grow the positive.
Yeah.
Everybody calls me a Pollyanna. They're like, you're too positive. It pisses people off. And I'm like, no, we got to do that so that we can grow it. Give it a little boost, give it a little energy.
Yeah. Where attention goes, energy flows, and that's totally
Where
true. You
attention
can see
goes,
it.
energy flows.
Yeah.
So thank you, Google. Google, I mean, has done a lot of good. Um, Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, American government that allows us to be free and speak freely, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I often think, gosh, go back 1,000 or 2,000 years, and some of the things we've said on this channel could have had us strapped to a chair and burned
Sometimes
at
we
the
get
stake.
controversial. Yeah. No, that is true.
Not even just, I'm just saying, just presenting it, just talking about it, not even really saying anything a certain way or anything, just having certain discussions we've had could have got us in deep, deep doo-doo.
Yeah, sometimes it's bordering on heresy,
Yeah,
right?
heresy.
Totally heretical.
We would have been fed to the lions more than once, guys.
That is so true. Um, but you know what? This is the way you change human consciousness. This is the way you change the collective.
Yeah.
It grows and grows and grows and grows. So I'm really happy. I'm feeling quite like, you know what? I got to start looking on the bright side of life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of that Monty Python song. Do you know that song? The
No.
Bright Side of Life. I think
Are you
it's
gonna sing it?
Jesus singing it while he's carrying his cross. I don't know, because you know what Monty Python's like, right? Always look on the bright side of life. I really am going to make that one of my goals for 2020, because I think I got too wrapped up in the dark side of things
Mm-hmm.
too.
It's easy to do.
Yeah.
It really is easy to do. But the way I always look at it, if it's outside of your sphere of influence, like if you come across something within your realm of being able to do something about it, whether it's child abuse or something along those lines, of course you have a
Yeah. Something
responsibility
serious.
to do something about it.
Gotta act.
But if they're talking about there's these secret meetings and these secret places and they're doing this and that, you don't even know where you're going to start with that.
How are we going to
you know?
act to stop that? Right. So maybe we should act locally. Oh, it's like buying. Don't they say buy local, act local, think global, pray global, act local? How's that?
Yeah, because if everybody's doing it's sort of like the whole idea that Tom Campbell talks about, where if everyone is service to others, then instead of you just worrying about yourself and you're just looking out for everyone else, but everyone else is looking out for you, that's a way better way to be. You don't have to
Well,
lock your
someone's got to
doors
start.
or
It's
yeah.
got to start somewhere. You can't say, well, I'm not going to look out for others because others aren't looking out for me, because then it'll never start. So somebody in the group has to go, okay, I'm going to look out for others,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether or not anybody looks out for me. And then people will see you and go, oh, wow, that's so wonderful. I'm going to try that. Okay. So today, driving through Starbucks, getting a Christmas coffee, not doing an ad for them. And the lady, there's 3 girls in my car, all teenagers, getting the most expensive drinks, of course. And I go to pay, and the lady at the window goes, oh, the car in front of you took care of your order. I'm like, ooh, it's just paid for.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay for the guy behind me. And I don't know if he's spent $4 on a coffee or if there's a car full of teenage girls and he's spent $24 on, 4 or 5 coffees. So, just paying it forward.
That reminds me.
That was so cool.
Gene sent me something. I'm trying to remember what they called it. It was Christmas Santa. Okay, so I can't remember the name of it because I wanted you to be able to look it up. But here's the basic premise: you get 16 of your friends, so 17 of you, get together $100 each. You all go out to a restaurant. You spend around 200 to feed everybody. Then you take the 1500 that's left over and give it to the waitress, and it's I think it's like Shocking Claus or something like that.
Shocking Claus.
Something like that. They had a little nifty name to it, but I thought, wow, how awesome is that?
Wow.
That
And to do it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, when these poor people have to work, but because they're in food, they have to, because people go out and eat on those days.
Yeah.
For them to get a $1,500 tip.
And it's really, if you think about it, it's like if you were going to just treat you and some other person was going to treat a group of people. That's really what it's like, and then everybody else, all that money is just going to the waitress, and
Oh, I think that's so cool.
And you could do it on a smaller scale as well. I mean, you could do if you go
5
half
people.
the people, and and then it's I don't know, if you do 10 people
wonderful.
or 9 people or something,
I think the waitress would probably cry. My daughter was showing me videos of this guy who knocks on doors, and then he does it for his YouTube channel. And he pays your rent or your mortgage. He knocks on the door and he goes, how much is your rent? And they're like, why? And they said, oh, I'm just doing this poll for my YouTube channel. I'm just trying to figure this out. And then the person says, and then he hands them that money. And, that turns big, burly men into blubbering babies. They just start crying when they're handed their rent or their mortgage for the month.
Exactly. Yeah, well, you can imagine a waitress. That would be quite a shock to get something like that. I think in the article she sent, the waitress says, well, you've really renewed my faith in humanity.
That is so cool. That
So
is so
it's
cool.
a creative way to, really bless somebody.
It's
A
it's the way
stranger.
the lottery is supposed to work.
Right.
The lottery is supposed to work in a small community. Imagine a small community a couple of hundred years ago, and everybody puts a dollar in a box or a bag, you know, and everybody's name goes in with that dollar. And then at the end of the week or the month, someone you trust would go in and pull out a name. And then that dollar didn't hurt you,
Right.
but that how many people are in your community? 1,000, 10,000, 50,000.
Right.
That 50,000 would really, really help that community member. Maybe pay off some medical bills, maybe buy a car, maybe go to college. I mean, that's the way a lottery is supposed to work. But when everything gets big and incorporated, that's when it all changes.
Yeah.
It's got to be local and small to really be effective, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every month you put that dollar in, and there's 50,000 of you living in your town or community. And, if you don't want to play, you don't play, you don't put your name in. You can't win it. And there's a chance every month that they're going to draw your name out. And of course, you have to trust the people drawing the name
But
so
on a
that it
small scale
truly
like
is.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Any comments or questions? Because I can't see the chat yet. Not until it posts.
It's starting.
Sorry, my chairs are so creaky. I can't fix them. I turned them upside down, and you're supposed to be able to screw them to tighten them, but they come with a funny multi-sided lug nut.
Mm.
So I don't have one of those. I just have screwdrivers. So I'm just gonna have to squeak.
I thought, man, I bet there's like more creative ways to do that. Because I'm thinking even on a small scale, you could do it with, even 5 people and just a
For a
couple of,
restaurant. Yeah.
yeah, where if you're putting in about twice as much as whatever the meal
I was going to
costs.
say even twice as much would do.
Yeah.
Say there's like 5 of you who go out and the meal costs, what should we say, 30? Because you're
Right.
not going to a really expensive restaurant.
Right.
Bring 60. So if the meal costs 30, you leave 30 as a tip. And then when the waitress clears the table, what's 30 times 5? You're good at math.
30 times 5 would be 150.
Well, even $150 tip on 5 people would be
Awesome.
really amazing.
That would make someone's day for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's do whatever you can. And it's spreading that love and light during the holiday season.
Yeah, it's kind of addictive. The more you give, the more people give. Okay, so I like to give because I get a kick out of it. And I always have, like, to give my time, trips. Like, they call this the House of the Pied Pipers in England, of the village we lived in. There were 1,000 people in our village, so it's teeny, teeny, tiny. And, it was the kind of village where you could just leave your door open during the day. It's all safe, like where I grew up in the 70s. And any kids on the block, if the parents lost them, they would always come to find them at our house, because chances were they were at our house, because I put in a trampoline, a swing, the TV, the Wii, and I said, in the kitchen, whatever you guys can find, you can eat. I know they're not going to cook a steak.
Right.
So here's all these kids feeling free to, eat, drink, and be merry. So of course they're going to come to our house, right?
Reminds me of the Sunny D commercial.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, you can't find your kid? Check Emily's house. Emily's house. Emily's house. It was always my daughter's house. And I liked it that way, and it made us all happy. And I broke my ankle, and I broke it clean through. So my foot was not attached to my leg anymore. Imagine that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I also broke the femur, which is the smaller bone in the leg, not the femur.
I don't know.
I don't know. The big one has a different name, and I didn't break that one. Thank God. And I didn't want to have the surgery. I talked to people who'd had all the nuts and bolts put in, and they say after it heals, the nuts and bolts really hurt. So just go for the long-term bone healing, which means you go to bed for 12 weeks. Yeah. Can you guys imagine going to bed for 12 weeks? Just put that in your noggin. It's enough to drive people insane, right?
You'd have to learn to go out of body for that long.
Huh?
You'd have to learn to go out of body for sure.
So I know I'm in this old English village. This is 2010, 2 years before I moved back home to the States. And my daughter, my husband's passed away. My daughter's 10 years old. She can't cook and clean. We have a dog that needs walking. We've got laundry to do. I'm up on the floor, no elevator, and I have an office chair, which can get me from my bed to the bathroom and back. And that's it. Can't get downstairs. That's where the door is, that's where everything, that's where life happens. Suddenly, I didn't call anybody. The door is unlocked, and in walks a neighbor and cooks us dinner. And in walks a different neighbor and grabs our laundry and takes it to her house. In walks a different neighbor and walks her dog. In walks a different neighbor and brings me like a sandwich and a magazine. I mean, I could almost cry about this. In walks another neighbor. It was like my house had a revolving door, and the whole street took it in turns, and they took care of us for 12 weeks while I was in bed healing a completely broken ankle.
Oh my goodness.
Can you believe it? I didn't ask them. And there they were. It was because, when you give and give and give, and you don't expect anything back, if anything happens, boom, they've got you covered.
Right.
It was so unbelievable.
That is beautiful. You got a little taste of New Earth and the whole idea of community.
I got 12 weeks of New Earth.
Yeah.
Because every time they tried to put on a fiberglass cast, my foot would swell, and then I would get purple toes. And then I got a blood clot in the leg, which is not fun.
Super dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I finally went to a smaller hospital in Banbury, and I said, I keep putting these really tight casts on. And he said, well, in fairness, when you're here and your foot's elevated, your foot and ankle and calf aren't so fat. When you go home and you lay down in a bed, they're going to swell. So they can't really judge how big your leg's going to get. So I went back to the old plaster.
Right.
Plaster of Paris, the white thing, right?
Yeah.
Did you know those things weigh like 30 or 40 pounds? They weigh a ton. It was like dragging a bowling ball behind me to the bathroom and back.
Wow. Yeah, we did the belly mold, and it gets pretty heavy.
They're really heavy, but that's what I did. And it took 12 weeks. I did the full 12 weeks, and the ankle actually, not only did it reattach where the break was, it's stronger than the ankle was before the break, because after a break, it adds extra calcium. It adds extra strength.
That's nice.
So I got a super, super strong ankle now.
It seems like it would have not give as much as, or it seems like it would have give the same amount as the other thing you had a problem with, the fiberglass or whatever, because then that strap on, I guess.
No, it doesn't give at all, but it breathes. How does it breathe? They said plaster breathes. So does air get through it somehow? There was like air around my...
Because I know it's like gauzy, but then the plaster of Paris stuff seems solid, but that's more like drywall almost, isn't it?
And it does not make your toes go purple, and it does not give you blood clots. Not like the fiberglass does. So these good old-fashioned plaster casts really had something going for them. And eventually I got to an old little hospital where they were happy to do it.
Right. Let's see. It looks like Suso. Did you send me a picture, Suso? I'm looking here. Oh, this is interesting. I'm going to share the screen. Suso just sent this. It looks like a big... share screen.
Will I be able to see it too?
Yeah, I'm going to pull it right up here. Let's see. Here we go. Look at that.
Oh my gosh. Come on, that looks kind of like a Q. Looks like a giant Q to me.
It does. Or one of those, what do you call it, prohibition, where they have it. Did you take this yourself, Suso?
Oh, I bet he did. Look at the mountains.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering.
The covered mountains. How beautiful with those mountains. I used to live in Glenwood Springs. I miss it. I've been to Leadville twice, and of course we stopped in the Silver Dollars saloon, and I didn't know you then. And maybe you weren't even there. Maybe you were in one of your other jobs, because he's worked in many states in the casino industry. Look at that.
That's so wow.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, he's saying he took it himself, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
I just don't see the planes that make those kind of things doing that sharp of a turn unless they did it on purpose to make the circle.
Yeah, it looks very
That's
purposeful.
a very tight circle.
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but it looks pretty symmetrical.
It looks very symmetrical. I mean, whoever
Yeah.
did it, good job,
Right.
right? That's a good circle.
Maybe it's saying stop the chemtrails. Oops, I shouldn't have said the word. Oh
Oh, there goes your monetization.
Well, I don't ever monetize these because I always think people might fall asleep during the meditation, and then the last thing they want is to wake up to an ad, you know. So
I still haven't drawn the money off of YouTube yet. It's there. It's in my account. I can draw it whenever I want to, if I want to, do what I like with it. But I always go, okay, one ad at the beginning. And do you know those stinkers now are putting in 2 ads at the beginning? I'm like, they didn't ask me if they could put 2 ads at the beginning of my videos. Did you know they bumped it up to 2?
no, I use
Yeah.
ad blockers, so I don't ever know.
No, but I mean, I do the YouTube Plus so that I can listen for meditations without any ads. But I mean, onto my videos that other people have to watch. I'm like, I'm really sorry. They've put 2 ads at the beginning now instead of 1.
That's so. If you hit skip though, it does skip it permanently, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first ad is 20, 30 seconds, and the next ad is like 5 minutes.
What are they doing there?
I don't
Hoping
know.
somebody passes out the moment they
I
click
don't
play
know
or
what's
something.
going on here. Yeah, I don't know.
I had moved mine to the end, but I don't
Nobody
always.
gets to the end of anything, and that's
Right.
when we do the meditation.
Right.
That's the whole point of being here, right?
Right. On the other videos, I will because typically, if somebody falls asleep or something like, they can just play at the end. That way, I don't. Have to, and live streams, I never have them on because it's annoying if you go to hop into a live stream and you got to watch an ad first. You're like, oh, I want to just get to the live stream, so I don't
I
ever add them
watch
on
the
those.
end of everybody's videos. Do you? I get right to the end. I do not bail early, but when I check my analytics, and if I put out a 15-minute video, people watched 5 minutes of it. If I put out a 50-minute video, people watched 15 minutes of it.
Right. That's strange, isn't
It's
it?
such a small amount that they're watching of the total in my algorithms.
Well, when I was doing video production for a living or whatever, because I would do like product videos and company explainer videos, things like that, and
That's cool.
we're told that most people are going to leave within the first minute. If you don't hook them in the first minute, they're gone. So yeah, it's like almost everybody leaves right away. That's why I'm like a lot of times it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even really get started at the end of a minute. So that's always in the back of my head. It's hard not to. In fact, one of my explainer videos talks about by 2017, the growth is going to hit this certain amount. I don't know if it hit the amount that it projected because it was so long ago, but it was supposed to be video was super huge by 2017, and it was.
Oh, yeah.
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 So it went up, it's been going up exponentially with, and then like there's also these statistics on how much more product sells when it has a video. So I had an explainer video that was about that. I actually created it for myself, for to pitch my services. So it was like all the statistics around projections of the future, how much more products sell if you have a video with it. Because if somebody goes to eBay and they're thinking about something, and then they have a video to click on, they're going to be way more likely to purchase it if they can see it, see somebody handling it, and
That
you
makes
know,
sense.
yeah,
That makes sense. I wonder how many people like us in this community have left mainstream media. Because I was late to YouTube. Um, I think I started my channel to comment on other people's videos in 2012, but I started my channel in 2017. But in 2017, I discovered YouTube as a source of information. Before that, I was still reading books
right,
and buying books, either on Kindle or paperback.
right.
And then as soon as I discovered YouTube, I was like, whoa, there's so much information here. A lot of it really crap, yeah, but there's some really good stuff in there if you keep looking.
Yeah, you really have to. Yeah, it's with anybody having the ability to put stuff out, discernment is key when it comes to watching people. And it's hard to get over that. Because some people can make an honest mistake. I've done it before. I don't know how many people maybe saw where I made a mistake about something. They're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
that guy's stuff's junk or whatever. I'm never
Oh,
going
me
back or whatever.
too. I made a mistake a couple of weeks ago when I gave
Excuse
you
me.
information on half of a documentary. I'm like, why are they looking for Jesus's body? What happened? What's going on? And then I went and finished the documentary. I was like, oh, they're not. Oh, dear. They were looking for the slab, the stone.
Right. Yeah. And then trying probably to match up the whole Shroud of Turin and all that we were talking
And
about.
it's like, I mean, come on. They're looking for the stone, the slab, as if it would say Jesus died here. Like that is the only slab in the world that Jesus could have died on.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of hard to prove that without DNA, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Well, I wonder if they can do that now. Have they ever tried to DNA test the Shroud of Turin or Turin, whatever
I
it's called?
don't know, but wouldn't that be awesome if they did DNA test it?
Because I read a book like I want to say my mom had bought one. It had to be 80s, and it was a big book all about it, but DNA wasn't a thing back in the 80s when I was
The
reading it.
Shroud
So,
of Turin was a big deal in the 80s. Do you remember?
yeah.
80s and 90s.
So I wonder
In
what they could
fact,
find
I'm
from
going
that.
to look it up and see if they ever tested the DNA.
Because they don't want to harm it either. I know they've taken fibers, but they don't want
You
to keep
have
cutting
to,
pieces off of it.
you have to figure out
Yeah.
who's related to Jesus now, if that really was
Wouldn't that be cool to get like a
Jesus'
little
blood.
Q-tip and get a little sample of the blood on the Shroud of Turin and then send it to like Ancestry.com and freak those
Oh
people
my
out?
God. Oh, that would be so cool. Sending the Shroud of Turin to, yeah, 23andMe.
Because I think they did that for Tom Hanks. I don't think he actually paid for them to do that. They just somehow figured out that he was related to Fred Rogers of,
Oh,
Mr.
right.
Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh,
He's
that's too weird. That is just too weird.
and then he
You know,
plays him.
if you guys read The Holy Blood, The Holy Grail, they're historians who wrote those books. There's 3 in there, I think.
Yeah.
And the whole Tom Hanks, Da Vinci Codes are
Hmm.
based on those books. So those guys sued Dan Brown and said, you've basically taken our books and turned them into a really cool fictional book and movie. We want some of the money. And the judges finally, the court case finally said no. Because the fictional accounts got the Tom Hanks character and some other characters in there that obviously are not in the Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, which is all about the line of Jesus, the bloodline.
Right. So I didn't know. I didn't know where Dan Brown got his research from, but
If
I
you
don't
read
know.
those
It's
books, they say that Jesus has a bloodline that's alive and kicking today. In fact, they kind of indicate that the Illuminators, there's another word to be picked up, that are running the show from, what's it called? Not the Hildeberg group. What's it called?
Bilderberg.
Yeah, Bilderberg, are the line of David. So they're
Mm.
supposedly related to Jesus.
I wouldn't doubt if the 13 families are
That's what they
somehow.
say.
Yeah.
See, Jesus and the 12 apostles, 13.
Right. Yeah.
So the 13
Interesting.
families
I
who
didn't
run
thought
the
about that.
world are in the line of David, the king, King David, and they are related by blood to Jesus.
And
Jesus is
now that we have this change in the zodiac with Ophiuchus being added,
Ophiuchus,
yeah, and I went
the
from
13th
Aries
sign.
to Pisces now, the Jesus fish. Totally happy about
Oh,
that. Also,
totally, totally. And I went from Gemini to Taurus. Makes a
yeah,
lot of sense.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So a lot of mysterious things happening right now.
So 13 was, this scary number. No 13th floor. 13's an evil number.
Friday
And
the
then all of a
13th.
sudden,
Don't do anything on Friday the 13th.
right. Now we've got, the 12 disciples and Jesus is 13. We got the
Wow, I'm
13th
happy.
zodiac now. And,
We
you know,
published our book on September 13th on a
right.
Friday, didn't we? So we
Yeah.
were like totally doing the opposite of what they say.
Yeah. With the Ho'oponopono embedded and stuff. So it's all cool.
Yep, and I embedded the Ho'oponopono in the top of my 40 days and 40 nights.
I love that.
Yep, same way.
Yeah. Infused with love and light. Love and forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Thanks and love, I should say.
What do you guys want to meditate about tonight?
Hmm.
We're getting close to Christmas, but it's not Christmas yet. We got rid of we did the fear and the fear not, the YouTube, like come to terms and not focus on the fear. We did that last week.
Yeah, let's see. We got 2 more shows before Christmas. Next week and the week
What are
after.
we
We'll
going to
be
do? We're going to take the weekend of Christmas off. Let's look at the dates. Do you have the dates
Yeah,
yet?
it's going to be the 14th next week and the 21st the week after that. So
So the day
Christmas
that
is
we
going to
would take off
fall
would be
right
the
in between
28th,
there.
if we wanted to, but we don't have to. We could take the 28th off because then the next Saturday is the 4th. So,
Yeah. So we can make the 21st the last of the year and then take off the weekend between Christmas and New Year and come back on
and
the
then
4th
start
with our
fresh
new
on
name.
the 4th, yes. Which I'm still not sure what it should be. And I love Quantumers too, Suso. So I still don't know.
Oh,
I'm going to have to leave that with you. It's on your channel.
Debbie says 13 has always been her lucky number.
That's awesome.
13 is sacred. I totally believe that. Because why else would they give it a bad name if there wasn't
Why else
something
would they give
positive
it a
about
bad
it?
name? Exactly.
I
I
love
do know
books.
that all the Knights Templars were, not all of them, 4,000 got away, but many of them were executed on a Friday the 13th in like 1306, something like that.
Hmm.
And that's where Friday the 13th got its bad name from, was the Knights Templars being put to death.
Mm.
Because they were basically Europe's bank. They started the whole European banking network where they would take your money in Europe and then keep it for safekeeping and give it to you if you made it to the Holy Land. But now that they were holding on to your money, it was much more profitable for them if you didn't make it to the Holy Land, because they did not have to give it back to your loved ones.
Right.
So there's a little mafioso in that as well as banking practices.
That's right. The 21st is the solstice. So 2 weeks from tonight is the solstice. I think that can provide a lot of energy, though, too.
Oh, that's going to be a heck of a lot of energy for us to do a meditation.
Yeah, I don't
So,
want to pass
would you
on
guys
that.
mind
So
if we just do world peace then on the solstice?
I
Is
like
world
that.
peace like we haven't done that for quite a while?
All right. Okay, so world peace on the 21st. And
Yep.
then, so now, I don't know. Hmm. We getting any? Nobody's suggesting anything here. Let's see. Hmm. How about? I'm trying to think of something sort of tied in with the whole shocking clause or whatever. Something
Shock and claws. Oh my
that
god.
maybe
Shock and awe.
opportunities
Oh
will.
my god, they're playing on the words of shock and awe, which was like the name of an Iraqi.
Right. Attack
Oh,
or military attack.
shock and claws. Um, do you want to just do a meditation of, because we're in December, and whether you're Jewish or Christian or Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist or all these other religions that I never ever remember to mention,
Maybe something with mending family ties or something, since we got a lot of family get-togethers and.
that would be good. And that we all experience the peace of the holidays and
Mm-hmm.
we experience the love of the holidays and get back to what it really means.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to come together with people that you haven't seen in a long time and actually love um, the reunion, the
Right.
reunion of
Instead
family.
of turning into a big debate or family argument where everybody storms out. I'm so
Yeah,
glad we don't have to deal with that. But it makes for good comedy sometimes.
it does. It's in all the comedies, isn't it? It's in all the movies where
Right.
the in-laws have to get together that never liked each other.
Yeah, it does make for a funny situation. But, it's so funny
Is
because,
that too much like Peace on Earth, though? Is that too similar?
hmm. No, I think it's more, how Lynn talks about being more specific. I think, being specific to the family and, even families, like we're like a little family. So even
We are like a little family.
strengthening the family, and that can only help the people that are struggling more and the people that are, sort of the pillars in the family and maybe a little stronger to help pull them up, and just the family unit in general. I don't know. You're the one that's got to come up with it, so I don't want to make it
Okay,
really
you gotta
difficult.
keep giving me ideas, though. Get the right words; they'll come because we don't plan it. That's the fun part, is that we don't plan it. Why does
Yeah.
it sound like planet to me now? It's because I'm doing A Course in Miracles. I'm thinking planet instead of planet. We don't plan it,
Right.
and
It's
I think
amazing how.
there's a lot of similarities in the spelling for a reason.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Plan it. Sounds the same.
it does sound the same, and Israel sounds Israel.
Yep.
This is real.
Right.
How do they manage that one to get a name like that? Like, we are the only real nation on the world, on the planet,
Right.
and we plan it.
Some of the preachers say Israel.
I
Yeah.
like that. Israel.
Yeah.
It just sounds more emphatic.
Yeah, let's. How about helping us embody the Christ energy more? Since that's sort of tied in with Christmas, and then we can
Should we do
focus on
that?
peace.
That would be Christ consciousness.
Yeah, moving
Because you
into.
can be in any religion and embody the Christ consciousness. You can be
Yeah.
a Buddhist and embody the Christ consciousness. You know, it's not religion.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a philosophy. It's a way of life
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to a religious belief.
Right.
The love, peace, love everybody as you would want them to love you.
Mm-hmm. And usually, no group has a problem with that other than the Christians. Sometimes, I guess my biggest problem was when I was a Christian. You know what I mean? I had
Yeah.
problems with sort of
They also
sharing
call
Christ.
unity
But
consciousness, if
yeah,
that's going to help, because we used to have a lot of, we still have a lot of Christians, serious Christians in our group.
yeah, yeah.
Gosh, April, you know the Bible backward and forward, and so does Go Kart Bob, right?
Speaking of April, let's see. She says, "Spark of life, love, creativity, in all beings everywhere."
Okay, what about tying that into unity consciousness, April? Would you guys want me to do it Christ consciousness or unity consciousness? Vote. Just say what word you want.
What about where's cosmic consciousness come into all this?
Well, cosmic means off planet Earth, means the everything, at least in the solar system, if
Right?
not the universe,
Yeah, I think it's
the
even
galaxy.
beyond our galaxy, even, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be cosmic, beyond our galaxy. It's kind of the universe is cosmic.
So
Okay,
that's the
we'll
real
use all
unity.
three. Huh?
That's the real unity consciousness, right? When we're in one
We'll
with
use all three.
everything.
We'll use Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, and cosmic.
Christ, cosmic, and you can simplify it all you want, though. Unity would cover it all, though.
Maybe. Maybe I can.
You guys are not making it any easier here. Hopes like cosmic Christ. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm all for the cosmic Christ. I
Yeah,
feel like,
cosmic Christ. The
you
big
know,
Jesus, April says.
the big J, the
Yeah.
big Jesus.
Yeah, we're all Jesus people pretty much. So the Christ consciousness.
But this is getting away from just the family, from focusing on love and peace amongst the family if we're going to go cosmic.
Right.
They're almost like two different meditations. But we do have peace coming up, so that's more of, on the 21st.
But we have cosmic and soul family too, which is.
We sure do. And soul might even go beyond cosmic. I think it does. I
And
think
on
it's
some level, we're
soul
all
getting
connected.
way out there.
Yeah, we're all one.
Okay, you want to do source,
How about just oneness?
source consciousness?
Oh, look at that. Confirmation. Wanda just said that too. And
What's
this is
that,
going to be
source?
delayed for maybe meditate on oneness of being, since we are all one. That's exactly what I got right before I read that.
Let's do it. I'm doing
And that's
A
unity,
Course in
sort of.
Miracles. If you guys want to watch a 5-minute video every day and try to practice it the next day, good luck, because they are a bit challenging. The little exercises in oneness are the opposite of the way we're used to thinking.
But it's planting little seeds, and it's
Planting seeds.
rewiring your thought pattern, isn't it?
It's rewiring your thought pattern. So you
Yeah.
really have to not overthink it. Just don't overthink it. Just do it.
Yeah.
You're only doing it for a minute. It even says if you do it for more than a minute, you'll go crazy. It's like, do it for a minute 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So, okay, oneness. Let's go for
Oneness.
because that's unity.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what Christ was all
That's
about
what Christ
too.
was all about.
Totally.
Totally.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Alrighty.
we got there in the end. I've never discussed a meditation so long before. It's kind of funny. Okay, I'm going to go silent for a sip of water.
Alrighty. I'll get a sip of water too here, and we'll get started.
Push the wrong button. Here we go. So I have a little bit of a cold, not bad, but just kind of a little bit of a sniffle. So excuse me if I occasionally sniffle. I'll try not to. So everybody get really good and comfy and kind of sit back, relax, close your eyes. If you're in a safe position to do so, don't do this while you're driving or walking or doing other things. And take a nice, deep, relaxing breath in. Don't push it too far. Just fill up your lungs, hold it, and exhale. And on the second breath, as you inhale it in, really kind of extend your lower tummy. Hold it and exhale out any tension or stress in your body. And then when you're ready, take a third deep, relaxing breath in. Hold it for just a moment and exhale out any stress or tension. And go ahead and send a grounding cord down now if you like. It comes from your root chakra, which is at the base of your spine. It's red. The color of the grounding cord can be any color you like. Usually people like a silver or a gold. Send it down through all the different layers of the building you're in, and then go through all the different layers of the earth, down to the center, down to the core, which is also the heart. And let that light spread out in all directions, really rooting you so you're solid. And now we're going to start to breathe in through our hearts and out of our hearts. You can breathe in and out of your heart center or the chakra and exhale. Just imagine your breath flowing in through your heart. And when you're ready, exhaling through your heart at a pace that's really comfortable for you. And if you like, you may add a color to the inhale and let that color circulate up your chakras and down your chakras. And then exhale that color back out with the breath. And as you continue to breathe in that gentle, clear, clean color, know that whatever color you chose right here, right now, is doing you some good. It's healing something or it's clearing something. Just breathe the color in, let it circulate in your body, and exhale it out when you're ready. Now we're all going to imagine holding hands, and we're also going to imagine doing something that we love with people that we love or a person that we love. Just imagine what it was like in the past, or go ahead and create something that's going to happen in the future. Maybe something coming up with some of the holiday celebrations. Just imagine the joy and the warmth that comes from being around people you love. And now we're all going to start to imagine together. And if you can't visualize it, that's okay. Just listen to the words, and you'll still be creating these images, not in images. Some people see colors, some hear sounds, some people see numbers. Just relax into it, whatever it is that comes to you, as we all start to imagine meeting up with our families during the holidays, whether it's Christian or Jewish or Buddhist or Islamic, anything, Hindu, Chinese, whatever the religious or the gathering, the holiday festive gathering is about. Imagine that being all about the unity of coming together. One family, one love. And then spread that out just a little bit further and think about your friends and family and colleagues and neighbors doing the same, coming together with people that they love and really enjoying the togetherness part of it instead of, the food, the music, the presents, the lights. Put the togetherness first and see, what does that feel like? What does that sound like? What does that look like when people come together? That's going to create an electromagnetic energy in the area that's going to be extremely powerful and extremely strong. So imagine that all going really well and being peaceful and fun and loving and supportive. And when you're ready, go ahead and extend that feeling to your neighbors, to your community. Feel that sense of oneness, the sense of being together in one place and time. And when you're ready, go ahead and extend that feeling to your state or your province, wherever you live, on a flat earth or a round earth, whatever. And try to feel the oneness that comes from a group of people living in the same proximity. And then take it even further and just see the entire world the way you like to see it. If you like to see it flat, that's great. If you like to see it round or like an eyeball, like Sherry, or a dome, or a triangle, or a tesseract, or a Merkaba, or maybe just a vibrating soup of holographic energy filled with all these individual souls that are now taking up the space in the here and the now. And imagine the love in the oneness, the unity consciousness, the Christ consciousness, the cosmic consciousness of seeing that we are all one life. We're alive. We are seeing and hearing and experiencing the here and the now, and we're kind of sharing the here and the now. Not always. Sometimes our here nows are a little bit different because of the Mandela Effect, but we're basically sharing a similar here and now. And imagine there being a great connection of love between everybody who shares an environment in which they can move, breathe, eat, act, and love and forgive and help and create and give. And then think of our community here and how far we've come in 2 years, how much we've grown and how much we've come together and how much we've come to know each other and appreciate each other and love each other. And let us just all be grateful and thankful and appreciate the fact that we've got so much support here to continue growing the love and the unity consciousness and the Christ consciousness and the cosmic consciousness. Because as this group of people in the here now that we call Earth starts to shine with their true capabilities of united love and respect and appreciation, imagine what kind of energy this planet, if you want to call it that, is going to give off when people really come into their own and feel safe and secure to love and forgive and appreciate. So we'll just hold those feelings for 3 minutes now. So when you're ready, just imagine whoever you get closer to this holiday season, really pay attention to the warmth and the energy of coming together with people you love, and just really notice and soak up the appreciation of being with people that you love. And just open your eyes and start to move around, move your neck, move your shoulders, your hands, your feet. Either let your grounding cord go where it's absorbed into the center of the earth, or keep yourself grounded.
Wow, that was awesome.
I had my eyes started to tear up, but I wasn't crying. And then I got like really hot, so I had to go turn the air conditioner on. Because sometimes you do, you heat up while you're meditating. Have you ever noticed that? Or you buzz
Yeah. Or you
and
get
your head.
chills. I was actually getting chills at the beginning, and then I got hot towards the end, and then I went really deep, and then the sound of your mic came coming back, and I was like, "Oh, it's already over." It's like a
My video, I don't even know when, because look at how pink my face is. I was like so hot, I had to get up and just turn the air on. So at some point, I turned the video on.
I don't know. It was on when I opened my eyes. So very nice. That was very powerful, and I could really feel that love and comfort and stuff. I guess towards it was before the moment of silence, and it was very lovely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I feel such a powerful connection meditating with you guys every Saturday night.
It is. It's
It just
extremely
feels
powerful.
so beautiful. It feels so lovely and loving and gentle. It feels really peaceful.
Yeah.
Really peaceful. I feel my most peaceful when we're meditating together. It's like this overwhelming wave of energy, of
Mm-hmm.
peace and love.
Yeah. I had that total. I always think of it because of my roots in the church. That Holy Spirit washing over you feeling of just the. It's not really cold, but it's like tingles and chills going over you. You know what I mean? And I
I
got
think
that.
that comes from us joining together. And I think wherever we join together, there goes Jesus and there goes Buddha and there goes God, source energy.
Yeah.
I think we call it in when we gather together.
Yeah. Yeah, because where two or more are gathered, or now it's two or three. So I don't know about four, but
Yeah, it changed. It changed from, it didn't
that's
it used
funny.
to be where three or more are gathered, or was it always where two or more?
I
Where
think it
two or
was
more are gathered.
two or more. Yeah, but now it's two or three.
So, or more turned to three.
Yeah,
It's
that's
always where
funny.
two or more are gathered in my name, there so am I.
Yeah, yeah, and I've been experiencing that more and more. You know, as we get together at these get-togethers, and people are sharing stuff. You can feel it. You can totally feel that you came
The love
together, and then
vibe.
Source comes in with you and joins you
Source
there.
comes with, and maybe a host of angels comes with us.
Yeah.
You
That's why I
know?
think, it's limiting how I'm like, there's this higher agency that's there. I don't know what you
Yeah.
want to call it. I think calling it anything is limiting. But
Yep, words are limiting, but you recognizing it. Nancy did something really cool this week. She started like a little, instead of a prayer circle, it was like a little love circle. So she contacted a few people. I hope it's okay to talk about it, Nancy. I know she wouldn't mind, because I'm sharing it so that all of you can do it too. And that's, whoever you're connected with, Facebook, Messenger, text, WhatsApp. My gosh, there's so many ways to connect, is to just contact like a group, like five of your closest friends, and then just send them love. And then you can even nominate one person to be the recipient of the love that week, so that all the people in that little group of friends is sending love to that one person. And then you can change it for the next week. And you can
yeah,
change it for the next week. And you can change it for the next week. What it is a version of this, really personal, really small. Not meditating. They're not meditating together, but they're just sending love.
and the power of intention, as we know here on this
Yeah.
channel, is super duper powerful. Very
And
scientific. I mean, it's not
very
woo woo at
scientific.
all. Yeah,
It's not woo woo at all. There's so much
yeah,
science backs it up.
yeah. I want to recommend
some-
anybody who doubts that, check out Lynne McTaggart's book. She breaks it down very scientifically.
Power of 8 looks at all the science behind how.
Power of 8.
Oh yeah, Power of 8. I just automatically add the at H is going to be like, what? I didn't write that book.
But that link is below, you guys. So if you don't, it's definitely well worth reading. And I like it because a lot of the reason I like David Wilcock, he gets into what is typically thought of as woo-woo, and then you're like, well, shoot, this is very scientific.
This is very scientific.
Yeah.
So the brain changes when you're intending for others and getting into the zone.
Do you remember which book?
To the gamma waves.
Do you remember which book of David's talked about because I read them all in really short succession, but one of them talked about the pyramid. Oh,
which
okay.
one?
He was talking about the power of pyramids, and they did this research with pyramids. Was that in the book you read?
Well, I watched his whole Gaia series, which
Oh.
is like 4 years of wisdom teachings.
Yep, and he
So
gets
I
into all of
remember
his
from
books.
there, and I can't remember if it was in the book or not.
Right.
You know, I'm buying a pyramid, right?
No, like for the backyard that you can meditate in?
Yeah, I'm buying it for the house. I'm in an apartment that I can meditate in, and I have like super high ceilings, like 20 feet. I'm on the 3rd floor, so 20-foot ceilings. I'm going to put like a 7-foot pyramid in.
Is it going to be a copper one, or what is it made of?
No, the best material for meditating and energy is plastic.
PVC pipes.
Kind of like our argonite.
Oh, okay.
Is a plastic, right? The metal actually interferes with the energy and changes the energy flow, which is probably why they use stone and granite. So they fill the plastic piping with granite at the bottom and the base, which holds it down and gives it that granite energy from the crystals.
That's nice.
And the actual shape of the pyramid creates the energy vortex itself. Because like if you put one on your table, you can put in like food and it just won't spoil. It won't.
Oh, I should have checked the. You know what? I think it's the source field.
The source field. Oh, his latest book, The Source Field.
Yeah, what is it called? Source Field Investigations?
Yep. I haven't read it. I haven't read it, guys. If you guys have read it, it might be in there.
He's got a newer book.
A newer one?
I think it's about to come out, though. I think.
Ah, okay.
I think it's set to release like the 1st of 2020. I know 2020 is going to be huge, but it's been like this.
Be big.
Yeah. 2018, 2019 was better than 2018. I know 2020s. I think from here on out, I'm going to be able to say this is the best year of my life every year moving
Every
forward.
single year.
Yeah.
I say that every day anyway,
Yeah.
because I really feel it. I always feel like the now is the best that we can have.
Totally agree with you.
So I totally mean it when I say the now. Today is the best day of my life because it's what I've got. It's right now.
And I just really want to thank you and commend you for being able to just pick up a topic like that and roll with it. I know how difficult it is because of editing, and I think I'm going to get it in one shot, and I never.
Loved your last meditation. I do it. It's in my meditations for night. I just hit my playlist and I can fall asleep to it.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah,
No
this
problem.
one was a little bit interesting because of the cosmic consciousness, the Christ consciousness. Ooh. And the unity consciousness, somebody walking in the door.
No problem.
Now there go the doorbells.
Cute little doorbells.
Yep, my cute little doorbells. But thank you very much.
Let's see. We should do a meditation focused on viral and bacterial infections.
Oh,
that's what Jolie says.
Flu season.
Yeah.
We could do that next week because then the Peace on Earth is the week after, and then we're taking a break till the new year. You guys, I still don't know about the name. I mean, I'm going to leave that to Shane. This is your platform. You've heard all the names. You've seen them all.
I'll never be able to decide. I mean, we're doing this whole Mandela Effect. We've created, let's see, it's the IMEC. So it's the International Mandela Effect Conference Group. We're putting it together, all the speakers from this last one, that we're trying to really organize it, come up with,
International? So are you going to do it like in London?
Oh, yeah. We're going, pedal to the metal with it, as they say, So.
And who's that? Is that Jerry? Is that Dark Wolf's Den?
Yep. And, of course, Christopher Anatra and, gosh, am I leaking information here? Cynthia Sue Larson. We're working on it, So we were coming up with our mission statement and the name and everyone's title. Of course, Kimberly Lynn Hansen gets art director, and I think I took the the one of unicorn. I thought that was kind of
Unicorn.
We're just having fun with it though, you know. But yeah, we're trying to organize something because the next one we're planning on doing, we're trying to do April in Connecticut. So
Okay,
that'll be
April,
more East
because
Coast.
last I heard was next year in Texas.
Yeah, I think that would be after that. So,
Oh,
so yeah, we're trying to get it. I think the location in Connecticut's like between like Boston and New York. I don't
yeah,
remember.
well, this
Two
is
major
different
cities. It
to
would be really
your
good.
unbiased and on the fence meetup.
Yes, this is separate from that. This is the Mandela Effect
Okay.
group. So Mandela Effect conference with speakers and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm
And
not sure where we're going to go.
like ESETI, just a really informal meetup.
Right. Yeah. We're talking about Savannah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be really nice. Hit the East Coast. And hopefully we can get Vanessa VA there if we get it close enough.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if we pick a date eventually, we don't have to do that right now, though, because it's in
Right.
2020.
Right. All right. Well,
Whoa, some big things happening in 2020.
yeah. I like that 2020 too. The synchronicity of it and the fact that, you know, you think of 2020 vision and the veil dropping and our sight becoming
Oh, yeah.
our spiritual
2020
eye.
vision.
Yeah.
That's very symbolic.
Yeah.
Seeing 2020.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that. So
And you know what a 2 and a 2 is?
is a
4.
oh yeah.
It fits right in with the 40 days and 40 nights, which I will be sharing with you guys in January. All the really cool mystical and religious associations with the number 4.
Very
That's
interesting
2020.
too.
That's a 4. That's a 4
Yeah.
year.
That's nice.
That's cool. That's cool.
Very nice. So thank you guys for being here. We will be back next week. And thank you so much, Eileen, for a wonderful
Thank you,
meditation.
Shane, and thank you everybody in the chat and everybody watching and everybody who's gonna watch later. Thank you.
Yeah. Which you're actually watching right now.
Exactly.
It is later. So
That
this
is it's your now.
it's the eternal moment of now.
Absolutely, and thank you for being there.
So that's 11 light. You guys will see you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.